Well, we got a victory. Well done to the Spurs, 2-1. Tottenham Hotspur against Brighton. Seemed like we're the away team, but we are here to review this match. Here we go. Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV, PRTV. I'm Sam Spurs for Life, and this is your reaction show. Ooh, had to get it out. Bit nervous, but Spurs have done it. 2-1 to the Spurs against Brighton. Kick off at 3 o'clock, just finished. And I'm joined in the house, as always. Here we go. The main man himself. It is the one and only Sid Spurs. Both of us didn't go to the game because we didn't want to. There's no excuses, really. We didn't want to go, so we didn't. Our friend Sean's down there, and he's probably enjoyed. He had a happy smile before the game. I was asking him why he was so happy before the game, but I guess he can be happy now. But Sid, talk us through that 2-1 victory to the Spurs. Not comfortable, but I guess we done it.
We did it. I mean, I did say yesterday that we was going to get beat 3-1. I've got to give it up to, I think Eddie Ryan yesterday said that we was going to win 3-1, but it wasn't 3-1. I hope Marlon enjoyed the game because Marlon went today, second game of the season, he was saying. So he got a victory. Our very own Jodi went as well today, and she's got a victory, and Sonny scored for her as well. But if there's the police outside, the robbery police, they need to go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because I think Brighton have been robbed today. I mean, a disallowed goal, which on another day, I think is given a blatant, in my opinion, I think that was a blatant penalty by Højbjerg on Mitoma. I don't know how that wasn't. But the fans got entertainment, not only on I don't know if they got much on the pitch, but on the touchlines. There was so much entertainment with De Zerbi and Stellini and that from the offset. It was mental. I mean, both of them getting red cards was, in my opinion, I think that was stupid because they had enough. Well, De Zerbi had something to do with it, but Stellini was just stood there doing absolutely nothing. But going back to the game, I think it was same old Spurs, weren't it? They had all the possession. They were doing all the attacking, and we've done a smash and grab. Great goal by Son. Great goal. But then, I think same as last week, Sam, on Monday when we scored, they had, how much possession did they have straight after we scored today?
It's embarrassing, some of the possession stats that happened today. The overall possession stats are not good either, but we'll look at that in a little bit. But we felt, to me, it felt like we were the away team. Everything, just to get the result, it felt like we were playing away and Brighton were the home team. I think up to about 29 minutes in the game, they had 71% possession. It came through on what I was watching on. And like you said, every single time they came forward, I was concerned because although they didn't have clear cuts opportunities, the goal that we gave away was shocking in the first place, but they were always in and around. The problem with Spurs is, as we've seen a lot of times this season, we don't do well with teams that press us. They pressed every single moment of that game pretty much. They really kept on pressing and we didn't look comfortable. 2 in midfield. We've talked about that before. You can't control games with 2 in midfield if the team like that is good in possession and they pressed like they did. It wasn't like they waited for us to give possession up. They got the ball back actively. And that's why it felt like we were the away team today. I must say the crowd, although it was a few views at halftime, they did stay with the team. Son's goal was quality. The Son's goal was really good. Brighton deserved to come away with at least a point from that game. How that penalty wasn't given. That referee today was terrible. He was awful. He didn't go to see that penalty decision. They must have told him. Well, I don't know if it's him then, because he was bad anyway on the pitch. But VAR. Can we talk about VAR? And I'm not even talking about from the Spurs. Oh, well, we've seen them not given. I don't care. That was a blatant penalty in anybody's book. And if we had that against us and we didn't get that penalty, we'd be up in arms. Sid, what's going on with this VAR thing now? It's ridiculous.
You know what? The thing is, It took VAR like 2 seconds. They didn't even like take forever and a half to look at it over and over and over again, right? It was literally 2 second job and they dismissed it. How on earth? I don't know. I mean, the commentators and the corporate on R1, they were like, it's an absolute disgrace. How have they not seen that at all angles? Højbjerg's not got anywhere near the ball and he's taking him out. And they were like, how is that not a penalty? It's shocking. But you know what? Okay, in real time, I think the referee probably doesn't see that in real time. That's why VAR's there to look at it. If he's missed it, clear and obvious, let VAR pick it up. But how the hell has VAR not picked that up? I can't understand that.
You just said it there, clear and obvious. If that wasn't a clear and obvious mistake, because he didn't see that, and that was blatantly a penalty, VAR is supposed to intervene with clear and obvious mistakes. Here we go. Just let's add our famous female in the Paxton Brigade. Is Pav. Welcome to the stream. We're just getting through that VAR thing at the moment, Pav. I don't know, I'm going to get your thoughts on the game itself. When I saw that, I was like, oh, here we go. Typical Spurs. We're going to do it again. When they didn't even refer the referee to go and have a look at it, I was like, this is... Because that should have just been given. I think the commentator that I was listening to was basically saying, you don't even need to tell the referee. You just need to say he didn't get any of the ball and he stamped on his foot. And that should be a penalty. And that's that. I wouldn't have complained. I would have said it's stupid from Højbjerg, all the rest of that bollocks, but I would not have said that that was the wrong decision because it clearly was the right decision. How they didn't even get that. Anyway, forget about all that. We managed to still get away with lots of the Matoma handball as well. That was off his bike. If I had given that, why it took so long, it's ridiculous. Pav, I just want your thoughts. What's your thoughts on the actual match itself, the victory, and some of the talking points? There's quite a few in there. But yeah, just give me your thoughts on the game.
Very, very lucky win. Like you said, a lot of challenges went our way in terms of we got away with a lot of stuff. I genuinely thought, I'm not even joking, I genuinely thought we were either going to lose or it was going to be 1-1. And until Kane scored, I was like, okay, fine, fair enough. But the fact that we got away with a lot of things says it all. We played exactly the same last time. Stellini going off as well. I just think, do you know what? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I said this as well yesterday. It's the same thing that we're doing time and time again. It's just playing this rubbish football. And, you know, Stellini taking on Conte's tactics and it's not working for us. Perfect example is, did you see, like, when Mason took over, he brought on Danjuma. How that changed? It's amazing. And it's just like, we did not deserve that win at all.
No, sometimes you don't. We've had situations this season where, you know, obviously we look back at that 3-1 against Southampton that turned into a 3-3. We looked at the 10-man against Everton that we conspired to get a draw out of that when I don't know how we did that when they were a better team than us. So we haven't had the luck. I think today we did have the luck because that was luck. You know, how Brighton, like I said to you, I don't think they had, in terms of, well, they did have a lot of shots on goal. I'm just looking, but their shots on target weren't good. I'm going to put the stats up because that will help just to talk through some of this. Thanks to Sid for these. Whew. Possession 65% to Brighton to our 35. That wasn't very far off the 71 that they had in the first 30 minutes. So you can see that's 11v11. That's 11v11 at our place. That just shows me everything we need to know about this tactical change. We're not a possession-based team. They cannot change from what they are, which is a low mid-block team, to a high-pressing possession-based team. We can't do it until we change whatever. And there's going to have to go through a whole cycle of training and work to do this. So that is a massive stat. 65% to 35. Again, the next one down, 17 shots to our 9. Now, I know the stats, shots on target, 4-3, will probably say, well, we've been efficient then. 3 shots on target, 2 goals. But if you allow a team 17 shots, either you've blocked some, they've had wayward shooting, they're not very good. Because if they had 8 shots on target, I would have thought they would have probably scored about 4 goals. I ain't really overly happy with Hugo Lloris. With that goal that was disallowed, the one that took the deflection, that was the handball of McAllister. It went under him. It went under him. And it was straight at him. I don't care about a deflection. He went under him. And this is what I'm saying. He made a great save, but everybody's going to say, oh, no, he made a great save and it tipped one onto the post. I don't give a F. That's what he's supposed to do. What he's also supposed to do is when he gets deflections and it comes straight at you, he's supposed to get down. Now, that was lucky for us, and that's where the luck was with us. 7 corners to our 3. Again, they scored from the corners today. We didn't look very good from corners, to be honest with you. I'm 15 fouls each. Sid, I'm going to ask you, as you always ask me, looking at them stats, what's going on at home?
So first and foremost, all season, what you've seen all season, and I'm saying it to the pair of you, from what we've seen all season at home, was you not expecting something like this from a team that comes and actually wants to play football and attack teams? Every team that's come to us that's decent and wants to, I'm not even going about decent teams, I'm on about other teams as well that have come to us. They've all had possession. Why? We allow them to have possession. Correct. Right? Every game. Yeah, and I was just telling you about that before, Sam, when on Monday against Everton, as soon as we scored, they had 85% possession. Again today, as soon as we scored, they had about 82% possession. We are a team that allows teams to have possession constantly. So I'm not worried about that at all. I knew that was going to happen because Brighton are a team that likes to play football. Give them that opportunity and they will. And we did. 35% at home. It's like we're the away team every time at home. But we're never the home team. In terms of shots on target, shots on goal, I think we had 1 in 3 on target. So that's fine. Like you said, I think they deserved a lot more than what we did. And then I'm going to talk about the corners. I don't know. My boy keeps telling me, Dad, it's zonal. Dad, it's zonal. Dunk is running free. He's got the freedom of the whole stadium and he puts it into the back of the net. And then in the second half, you got Skip marking him. That's like little and large, isn't it? That's madness.
I don't understand.
No, it's weird.
No, all I can think is that obviously Ventroni, who was our set piece coach, because obviously he's died. People know that. We haven't looked any good really since then. If I'm honest with you, set pieces in terms of corners, I think we're still probably high up in terms of the percentage. But for Lewis Dunk, the biggest player on the pitch, to stand in the box unmarked, then to run round the back post, not even run. Nobody was looking at him and see, oh, he's running. The ball then came over the top. And what Lloris was trying to push players in front of, he could never get to that ball. He was never going to get to it. The header was brilliant anyway. But again, Lloris is stumbling back. Even if he wanted to save it, he couldn't have saved it. Even if he wanted to. He's just, I think it just gives us so much negativity with him in goal. People keep saying, oh, he's, sorry, go on.
I can't blame Lloris for that goal because I think he was going backwards and he slipped. I don't think you can blame him for that. He was going backwards and he slipped. I hear what you're saying. He was coming for it, but then he decided not to. But then he slips and he's falling into the goal. So I don't blame. If you're going to blame anyone, you blame them defenders because. Oh yeah, I do. There shouldn't be a man running like that. The biggest man on the pitch, free. I agree. Sorry, I agree. Yeah. But it's still for me. This is the biggest thing about Spurs. We're not very good confidence-wise. We're fragile. This is the word I will use. We're fragile. So anything like that, it spreads this fragility throughout the team. Did you see when Dyer? It was Dyer's header. I think it was Dyer's header or pass that went to somebody. The ball went over to Matuma, and the goal off his arm that was disallowed. Again, we got away with one. Yeah. We got away with it. Its mistakes are murdering this team. Pav. I looked at the starting 11. It was a start 11 that was obvious on paper that was going to be, unless Richarlison again is 100% fit, he's not going to start ahead of the 3. Son's goal was brilliant, but what else was there about it today?
Nothing. They were invisible. Like, yeah, Son got the goal. Yeah, 100. Yeah, whatever. But they were invisible. I don't care whether you've got the goal or not. You didn't show any desire on the pitch. Yeah, okay. I was there in the first half. Like, where's Kane? What's he doing? Where is he? I didn't know where he was. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand what is going on through these players' heads. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, what is it? What's going on?
Do you know what? I think what you're saying, Pav, I think they need to get rid of that AIA on the front and get sponsored by Fragile, handle with care.
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's just, I don't know. They just don't want to play with confidence. No. It's like Sam said, that pass by Dyer was shocking. You know what I mean? Højbjerg was bad. He was really bad when he tried to do that stupidness with 3 players around him and he lost the ball. Perisic is passing. I think Skip's passing. Kulusevski. I think all of them. And Son was just completely, after that goal, there was a few times when he went into that penalty. I'll give you a prime example, right? This morning, I was watching the Man United game against Everton. Yeah. And every time Rashford got into that penalty area, the strength he was showing, he was nowhere near them balls, but the strength he was showing and standing on his feet on the ground, he was winning them battles. Son wasn't even getting anywhere near thinking of putting a challenge in. He was just running and then just getting pushed off the ball easily. And that's the difference. Show a bit of desire, show a bit of, guts to say, I want that ball. But we haven't got anyone that wants to do that anymore.
We've got no passing ability. I looked at and saw why we're not a possession-based team. They don't look like they practice passing because we didn't keep possession very well at all in this game. I know that Brighton pressed us a lot. I know that they put us under pressure. I know that we've seen that we can't really deal with that in terms of how teams have pressed us and we've reacted. But even so, some of the passing was woeful. The final third, when you just expect just a couple of creative bits of play, the front three, I don't think they had the best of games. Yes, Son scored and Kane scored. But if I'm honest with you, you can see that we had 9 shots against their 17, 3 on target. So we didn't pepper them. We weren't like our forwards had loads and loads of chances. Pav, I think we've talked about Harry Kane before. Was put up again. Sid's done some stats for us with regards to the starting 11. It's obvious to me that if we don't have Harry Kane starting a Premiership game or any game for Tottenham Hotspur, we are going to be in a lot of problems. But saying that, how do you think the front three performed today?
They didn't. They didn't. Other than the two goals, they didn't. Kulu, I don't even want to get into that. He was atrocious. Kane, I thought he was invisible until he got that goal, and then Son, he turned up for the goal, and then that was it. Like, they're showing no desire. They're showing this thing that they need to prove to us that they want to win, but it just doesn't seem like they are. It doesn't seem like you want to see that intensity. You want to see that drive forward. You want to see that aggression, but we're not getting that from them. And that's what a front three should be. A front three should be, winning the ball, driving forward, all that sort of stuff. But we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. I don't know if you two agree with me, but that's just, I think that's how a front three should be. And I'm not seeing it. All I see is these dead rats on a pitch looking dry. That's what I see. So.
Oh my days. Let me just go before you go, Sue, because I'm not going to be as harsh as Pav. What I will say is Harry Kane can have an off day sometimes, but he still scores goals. Do you know what I mean? The other two, I don't think Kulusevski's playing that well this season, although he was interesting in parts today, but he ain't got the pace to go past people. Son, he's not even utilising his pace anymore. He's getting into areas where I think one-on-one he's going to beat this guy, but he seems to be being bullied. He can't get that shot off. His goal was great, but he was given that opportunity. Had they really pressed and bullied him, I'm not sure he would have got his shot off. But that seems to be his problem. He just doesn't seem confident anymore. He doesn't seem confident to run past players and go either side, shoot left or right. He just seems to be a little bit hesitant. I thought that goal at the early, because it was... Go on.
No, I was going to say, this is a question for you two then. Is that the case now with Kulu acting and not playing the way that we want him to play? Is that a reason now to get him off the pitch and put someone else in his place.
Sid?
You know what? I'm just going to reply to the front three thing first before I answer your Pav. I think the front three, I agree what Sam said as well. Kane's allowed an off day. Yeah. But Kane will do what Kane does. As long as he gets the goal, then it's not a problem. The other two, they've got one thing in common. Both have come back from injuries. That's killed them. Simple. Son's not been the same since that injury. Kulu's not been the same since the injury. However, there was once, I think, in the first half where all three combined on a counter, where all three of them got involved in that. And I thought, well, yes, this is what we need to see. But then it stopped. I think that was it. And then somebody must have said, oh, yo, what are you three doing? You're not supposed to be doing that. And it stopped. Right? But I don't know. I mean, this is what we're going to get now for the rest of the season, aren't we? Yeah. And your question, Pav, was Kulusevski. You know what? Mora's out now for 3 games, so that's good. It was good to see Danjuma back and actually get 15 minutes. And my commentator, I think it was Paul Robinson, when they brought him on, he said, Danjuma's on the bench. He goes, oh, he's getting ready. He went, that man's grown a beard since the last time I saw him. And he goes, he's even combed it as well. It's been that long he's been on the bench. But the problem is we've got 2 players that are well out of form, and we've only got 1 on the bench that can replace him. So it's all
we've got 2. We've got 2, Sid. We've got Danjuma and Richarlison. Now, Richarlison, obviously, with 0 goals this season in the Premier League, isn't going to be full of confidence, but he's still got the effort. And I tend to agree with what Jude's not saying here. I saw desire, because I did see desire. I saw players trying. They just weren't very good. They weren't very good in possession. They weren't very good in the final third. We weren't able to cope when they pressed us. So they just weren't able to deal with Brighton. Brighton were just a better team. But I saw them celebrate well with each other when the goals went in, which gives me hope. You know, when Kane scored his first, but the second goal, Perisic, they all kind of, it was just really see, let's hope we don't draw. Because I thought if come away with a draw today after that, I don't think the players could have get themselves up for anything more. Because we've had 2 games like that. If that had happened again, I just don't think we would have recovered from it. We've now got an opportunity with the next home game. Is it against Southampton?
No, we played Southampton.
Was it Bournemouth?
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Not South. Same sort of area. That's
Bournemouth.
What I meant, really.
Yeah, it's
Bournemouth. But let's have a look at this league table, because this is the funny thing as well. This makes me laugh. We're in 5th place still. We're only 3 points off 4th. One Sid's laughing at me because I'm going to try. We've got 8 games left. They've got 9. Man United are in a few contests at the moment, and they've got some tough games coming up. Newcastle, same sort of thing. They've got some tough games coming up. We have as well. Our week when we play Newcastle, Manchester United, and Liverpool is going to be the make or break of our top 4 chances, I think, because hopefully we should win the next game against Bournemouth. But what do you reckon then in terms of we should be in Europe this season, should we not, judging by the table now?
Listen, right, Newcastle should have been 2 down today. You could have put 100 grand on Tony not to miss a penalty today, right? He scores that first one and then he scores the second. They're 2-0 up and they probably win that game. But Newcastle come back and they won the game. So I was telling you, Sam, before this, look at where Villa have crept up from. They're 7th. They've gone to 6th now. They've gone above Brighton. All right, they've played 2 more games, but they're on a roll. You know what I mean? They seem to be quite decent. But,
they are.
Yeah. But it's like you said, how are we still 5th?
We've got 6 points on. We got 6. We got 6. Listen, going back to the Aston Villa thing, because I want you to talk about that a little bit more. We got 6 points on them. If they was to be above us now, even if Brighton were to be above us now, and I'm including Liverpool in this, any team now, we would have to, like I said, that make or break is coming when we play them 3 teams: Newcastle, Manchester United, then Liverpool. If we don't get, I would say at least No, I'm not even going to say. We just can't lose. I was going to say that, but that's not even sounding very good. That's not sounding positive because I think 2 of those games are at home, aren't they? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just
2 games
looking at that and thinking we're in Europe. Oh yeah, we're at home to Man United. We're away at Anfield and then we're away at Newcastle. Oh God.
Yeah. And you know what happens at Anfield?
That's going to take that shine off that. I do. Pav, 5th place at the moment, 8 games left. Where do you think we'll end up?
7th or 8th. I'm sorry, but
she's gone silent.
That run that we've got going on, yeah, it's. I can't see us getting top 4. I can't even see us getting Europa League. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so don't forget we've got Newcastle coming up. We've got Man United coming up. We've got Liverpool coming up. Those games, yeah, I don't see us getting the points if I'm being realistic. So
where do you think we're gonna end up, Pav? Stop trying to skirt. Don't skirt it. Where are we gonna end up?
7th.
7.
That wasn't me. I'm gonna ask the same thing of you, Sid, because Pav, positive vibes. Pav is gonna get slaughtered on Twitter.
Listen,
where do you think, Sid?
The thing is. Right. The thing is, it all depends on obviously Newcastle, Man United. But if you're gonna look at it, the run of play, I don't want to end up. If we're not in the top 4, I don't want 5 or 6, or even 7, because I don't want European football. If we're not in the champs, because it's just going to be longer, harder, and I'm not predicting where we're going to finish because. At the moment, I'm not even predicting wins. I'm just taking the games as it going along. If we score a goal, I'm not even. You know what? I wasn't even that ecstatic today. To be fair, they've just taken it all out of us now. I don't know about you, Sam, but he's just taking it all out of me. I wasn't even celebrating that goal. Son's goal, as good as it was, I just think, yeah, he scored. You know what I mean? Well done. But
do you know
I'm not excited, honestly. So I'm not bothered.
You know exactly that. You know what it was? When we scored in 79th minute, all I kept thinking was, are they going to get an equaliser? Yeah. Are they going to get an equaliser? I wasn't thinking, oh, yeah, we're going to go on and win this 3-1. I just kept thinking, are they going to get an equaliser? And that says it all. You know, we're at home. We should be controlling the football and we should be comfortable. We should be comfortable if we're winning a game 1-0 because of the way we're supposed to be as a team, defensively solid, low blocks, mid blocks, and playing from there. So if you're 2-1 up, surely the low block, mid block should be an ideal scenario. But also, you have to press in that. Once the ball goes into those areas, then you have to press, but you have to press well. What I'm seeing is players, they're still playing around us, even in low and mid blocks. That can't be right. And then they kept throwing crosses in. Why can't we stop the cross if you've got 5 across the back line? And then you've got 4 across the next line? How are they still getting crosses into the box? How? And this is what I'm saying. In and out of possession, we're not, it's not clicking, it's not gelling. And it's a lot of work that's going to have to happen with whoever comes in. But thank God for VAR's ineptitude today. That's all I can say.
And the other thing, I was watching the last 5 minutes on final score, and Jermaine Beckford was doing our game, and they must have asked him with like 5 minutes to go. He said, how's it going? He said, yeah, he saw Brighton, you know, Spurs are just holding on, blah, blah, blah. And then they must have asked him, what do you think? He went, the Spurs are 2-1 up, but it's Tottenham. You never know. He said, you never know. Even with 2-3 minutes to go, he said, you never know. It's Tottenham. And I thought, you know what? He sums it up. You can't celebrate because you don't know what's going to happen. And that is the problem we've got. We've got to wait till the final whistle, actually, before you can think, thank God for that.
Even when they said 6 minutes, it was like... And then I saw some of the greatest acting I've seen for a little while from a few players. Absolutely. I saw Kane got tapped on his shin and he was like, rolling. I saw Son get tapped on his shin.
Yeah, but Kane got tapped by Pedro took him out.
I know, that was the thing. I didn't even realize it was Porro. and then do you see Son's one as well? Son's was brilliant. He got tapped. It wasn't even really on his shin pad. So obviously, if he has no shin pads on, it's going to hurt a little bit. But then he was like down, he was rubbing it. And then he got up and he had the audacity. I'm going to use that word today. Audacity to hop. He was actually limping like that for a little while, as if to say, ooh, and then he ran it off. I was thinking, well done. That's one thing that's come out of Conte that I'm going to give a round of applause.
Shithousery.
It's housery. What are we saying? We're having to rely on shithousery at home to see out a game. Oh,
bad, isn't it?
God, it's bad. Juice Nuts missing Bentancur, even a two midfield, he does 1.5 times a person's effort. With respect to Højbjerg, Skip, so they don't give us 1.5 times the effort. The latter two are still raw. Højbjerg is tired. Højbjerg is tired, and he does what Højbjerg does. He runs around. He gets himself about. He looks busy. He's basically Sissoko on gear. You know what I mean? Because he's better than Sissoko, but he still does Sissoko things. He's pointing over there, get over. You know what I mean? Pick up a yellow card. But I'd rather have him in our team than not. Because at the moment, if we had a midfield of Saren, Skip, I think it's a bit lightweight in my honest opinion. We will end up 6th. I think we'll end up 5th. I don't think the teams below us now can get to us. Even Liverpool, I'm going to include them. However, I'm going to caveat that by saying those 3 games in midweek come towards the end of April will, depending on where we are, will determine where we finish, in my opinion.
It's not even them 3 games, mate. It's the next game. It's always the next game. With Tottenham, it's always the next game. It's not even them.
I know.
Do you know what? We could end up winning them 3 games and then get beat by Bournemouth, Crystal Palace. And you know what I mean? And Brentford. That could possibly happen.
I know what you're saying. Because those 3 teams, we should be beating them now. Because Brentford will be on the beach. Crystal Palace have got Roy. And do you know what I mean? Bournemouth, I know they're fighting, but we're at home. We're at home. Come on.
But hey,
so you know.
But it's nice to see Frank Lampard back, eh?
It's nice to see Frank Lampard back, getting what Frank Lampard deserves. Couldn't happen to a nicer fella. Couldn't happen to a nicer fella than Frank. Final thoughts then, Pav. Thank you for showing us your ceiling, by the way. It's very nice. It's white, isn't it? It's white. You know what I mean?
Was it a ceiling? Was it a floor? It was a floor.
It was a ceiling. I saw lights. Unless she's got flooring on her floor. Lights on her floor. I think there's lights and everything.
For tiles.
Yeah, man. Nice ceiling. Nice. Look, there's that one.
It's not even my house, mate.
Yeah, final.
Final thoughts on your house.
Final thoughts on your house.
Final thoughts on Spurs. Right. What do I say? We need change.
Like it is.
We need change. It's about time, but it's now Stellini's got that red card as well, so Mason's obviously going to take over. It'll be interesting to see with our next game against Bournemouth, what's going to happen and things like that. But
before you finish, let me give you the next 4 league games, because that's what a good point, Kerry Murray. We got 3 tough games, but I'm gonna go. So Tottenham versus Bournemouth is the next game on the 15th. 23rd, Newcastle versus Spurs on the Thursday, the 27th. Tottenham versus Manchester United on the 30th on the Sunday. Liverpool versus Tottenham. There's the next 4 games for you.
Do you know
2
what?
home, 2 away.
Okay, do you know what? Like you said, Sid, I think it's going to be typical of us that we're going to lose against Bournemouth, and then we're going to go on a winning streak against those tough 3 games. But we can't afford to lose, and it's all about how we turn up. And if we turn up how we turned up today, we're not going to get the points. Be realistic, we're not going to get the points. We'll be lucky if we get a bloody draw. But I think now that Stellini's out and now that Mason's going to be taking over for a bit, it'll be interesting to see if we play differently, because that will be a big, change, I guess. But it'll be interesting.
But Pav, he's still coaching. I don't know what's going on in the training, because obviously he might not be on the bench, but he's still going to be doing the coaching, unless Mason's. I don't know. This is what I'm saying. Who's running the shit? Because I actually thought Mason looked looked more confident. He looked a little bit more. I know it was only 20 minutes or so he had to do it, but he just looked a little bit more because he's been at Spurs. I don't know. It's a weird setup at the moment. And I'm just not sure who's in charge and what's going on in the background.
But point is if we carry on that Stellini's making play, not going to get far. That's what I think. I think we won't get far at all. So something needs to change, but realistically, it's not gonna. We're gonna see the same old Spurs again and again. And this is me not putting you on my positive hat, guys. So
I was just gonna add, and this is coming from Positive Vibes Pav. She said we're gonna be 7th, and she said that's it. We're effed now, basically. With a nice ceiling in somebody else's ass. Sid, final thoughts, mate.
So, Pav, going back to what you were saying about turning up against the other teams, the only way we're going to turn up is apparently the coach is being, we're not going to use the coach anymore. We're going to be delivered by DPD in boxes that says fragile, handle with care. But final thoughts.
Or we can just turn up and manage them.
Yeah. Final thoughts. I think it's game by game, isn't it? I'm not overly keen, to be fair. I'm not optimistic of what's going to happen towards the end of the season. I'm just going game by game. And if we win, we win. If we lose, then so be it. We've lost. I'm just taking it. That's it. I've been warned. They've warned me out, Sam. I'm just going game by game now. I'm going back to my last season where one game at a time. One game. Because I can't handle anymore. I can't look into the future because it's not the future's not bright. The future's not orange, unfortunately. So
you know what? I can actually feel it from you, Sid. I can feel that you just nonplussed by today. I can sense it, but I'm trying my best because I feel the same, but I'm just trying my best because I can't do anything else. It was an awful game. If I'm honest with you, it was an awful game. We should never be 65%, 35. They should never have 17 shots. If they had a strike of any note, they would have wiped the floor with us today. They would have wiped the floor with us. We ain't got nobody that presses. We ain't got anybody that wants to retain possession, but yet we won 2-1.
But I'm learning from Daniel Levy. I'm keeping my money in my pocket now by not going to the games. I'm investing in myself.
Investing in me. I like that. Investing in me. That's what we should be doing. We should have done that from a long time ago. We've tried, but this is what I'm saying. This is when you support a team. We're supporters, through thick and thin. We've just seen a lot of thin. That's all it is. We've not seen a lot of thick. We've seen a lot of thin. And this season has been hard to watch. Even though where we are in the league, and some people will say, particularly people like Gary Neville and Jamie Carroll, what do you expect from Spurs? And when you look at it in hindsight, what do we expect from Spurs? This is whereabouts we should be, around about 5th, around about 6th, chasing for 4th out of every competition. But you're just giving us that hope that possibly towards the end of the season, we could get top 4. This is what Spurs do. Do you know what I mean? So true. It is true. They do come with it because, like I said, it's the hope that kills, and we always have this hope with Spurs. And even now, we've still got hope that we can get top 4. And this is the same thing like last season, except for last season we were a bit more confident in terms of being on that roll. We just don't have that confidence about us. No manager for the next game as well. So that is he on a 3-game ban then? Is it?
I think it will rescind it.
Just
at the end of the day, the excuse they've given is because they failed to control their staff from doing whatever. But then if they get involved, then they would have got blamed. So they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. They didn't get involved. Well, he didn't get involved. He got red. De Zerbi was at it from the beginning. So I think Spurs will appeal, and I think Stellini's got nothing to do with it. And he was bemused just like everybody else. Why am I got a red card? So I think if it is, I think it'll be a free game.
Oh, I hope. Well, there was no violent conduct from them, so they couldn't give them, because what they said was the excuse that I heard was that they couldn't control their bench and their number 2s and all the rest of that sort of stuff, and that's why they both got sent off. But Stellini wasn't doing anything, so I can't. Oh, we're not going to go there again. I'm going to end this show because I think that's enough 40 minutes and we've talked about Spurs.
Yeah.
But we won. We did win. We actually did win. So make sure you smash a like on the stream, people. Subscribe to Paxton Road TV. New season will be PRTV and we'll be starting a new channel. But everything will be just the same. So don't worry about that. We'll just.
I got a question
let
for
you know
you
as we do it. Yeah.
I got a question for you, Sam. We discussed this yesterday with Pavan now, but I've got a question for you. And what Dinosaur's saying here. What do you think of this guy that they've appointed yesterday?
I didn't even know. So I said I was out of the loop yesterday for a lot of the day. I didn't even. Let me have a look, and I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do something on talking points about that, because that needs to be discussed. What's going on? Because these things now are important about what we get in the summertime. But as I said, we're getting, what's his name, Brendan Rodgers. We'll almost put money on that.
I agree.
I'll tell you, no, I'm not joking. This is Brendan Rodgers. Everybody can say Zebri, they can say all these other names. Luis Enrique, it's going to be Brendan Rodgers.
I think it's Potter, personally.
Yeah, I'm between Potter and Rodgers, to be honest.
That's the worst of the two.
No,
in
it's
my
not.
opinion at this moment, because you don't reckon.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm saying that,
Go on.
the only reason I'm saying that is because I think Potter's more scarred because of this Chelsea experience, and then to just throw him into the Spurs experience, it's like, oh my god. I don't think having those two appointments back to back. If he goes somewhere else and then comes to Spurs, I agree. Brendan Rodgers, I think Brendan Rodgers just runs his course. He's been at Leicester 4 years. He ran his 4-year course, which is what he does. He does that everywhere he goes. And it's time to come to Spurs to run a 2-year course. That's it. That's my point. Stellini called him very aggressive. Stellini and Robert have some game playing history. That might be what it is.
Yeah, it was mad from the offset.
Yeah, something happened. Oh, yeah, it was a bit mad. Matt, thank you, Matthew Bassett, for joining us. Non-Spurs fan, but very, very knowledgeable, and big up everyone on the show and in the chat. Cheers, Mark P. You're an estate agent, great.
Pav,
Pav,
this is
you
for
an
you.
estate agent? Oh, she's gone. That's how bad she's gone.
She's got a client. She's going to show someone around the house.
That's it now. We'll have to do it. We'll have to do a talking points. She's saying great win for the Spurs today, but whatever. Matt, whatever you say, I'm not going to join in on that great win. We won. Sid, thank you very much. We'll sort out talking points, and then I guess we'll do the next preview, Bournemouth, next Saturday. Okay, that's what it will be, peeps. That's it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Paxton Road TV, PRTV. We are going to try to bring you all the rest of the previews for the games that are left for the season, even though it's as hard to do this as it's ever been. But we have to keep going, don't we, peeps? We have to keep going, don't we, Sid? Come on, Sid. At least join me with a little bit of happiness, Sid, because I can see you're not happy today. But come on, Sid.
Oh, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is.
It's done. It is what it is. No problems, right? We're out. We'll catch you on the other side.